What's up, everybody? It's Mikey and Brandon here from Harlem Hayfield. Got Hugh behind the camera. Legendary Harlem Hayfield. Sorry, I blew up. We got Hugh Sullivan behind the camera as the director, and this is some form of podcast thing that we're talking about. We've been talking about doing. I think we're going to call it Musicians Forced to Podcast, because you have to. The internet is a little content monster, and you got to feed it. So we're looking to feed it some content.
And we also got to feed this, and we don't make any money on the road. So here we are.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Tours.
If you want to be one of the biggest, most eligible Hundredaires, become a musician. But no, we figured it was a good way to touch base with everybody and talk shop and give you guys an insight into what we've got going on behind the scenes, if you give a shit. But, so we just got done. We played Melody Sunday. I was so tired Monday.
Oh,
and I didn't drink. I didn't partake in any recreational stuff. I just, I had a couple sugar-free Red Bulls and water, and I was wiped Monday. Of course, my day job is very exciting.
Well, Melody Inn is 2.5 hours from here, and that was a Sunday night, so that was rough the next day.
Yeah, I think me and Chris got back into town about midnight, but it was fun. Melody Inn, that was our first time there.
Indianapolis, Melody Inn, legendary, really the legendary Melody Inn.
They established in 1935. Can you imagine a venue starting in 1935 and still going today, 90 years
And
later?
90 years later, they're known for their Saturday night punk night.
Right.
Yeah.
They were doing like local USO shows there during World War II. Like guys on leave come home like, I want to see the dancing girls. Go down to the Melody Inn, you see?
It is a cool place. I want to go back there. Graham left his snare drum there.
Graham's got to go back there.
Yeah, he's going back, I think, tomorrow. And that snare drum is actually really rare. It's like $500.
Isn't tomorrow punk rock night?
No, it's Saturday. Tomorrow's Friday.
Because I kind of equated Graham to leaving his snare there like a girl leaves a shirt at your house. Like, I got to come back. Sorry. While I'm here.
No, he said that he doesn't want to do that. He was like, dude, I'm going back before punk rock night because he's afraid it's going to get tore up.
Well, it's a chore. We're in the Midwest, so it ain't like you can jump from town to town. Everything is 3 hours away from everything.
Yeah.
It's like a geographical anomaly. So it's a chore, man, to drive clear over to the Melody, drive 2.5 hours just to pick up one item and drive back. It's ugh.
But at least it's all over. The Melody was really like our last date on our tour. Like it jumped. Like if you look at the tour schedule, it was the very last thing. We were a couple weeks out from that. But like, it's all closed out now. We're done. We don't have to.
Now we get to start booking the next run and getting told no by venues in towns we've never been.
Yes.
When we were booking this last tour in December, I think we were each taking a different town. Like, Hugh, you hit Erie, and you were hitting Fort Wayne and Indianapolis, and I was doing Louisville. Columbus and Buffalo and all kinds of shit.
Hugh... Fucking Erie, Pennsylvania. I think I might have texted you and was like, hey, I'm working this. Mikey's working that. Can you work Erie? And like 4 hours later, he's like, I got it.
I got one.
I was like, what? I got it, dude. I already got it. I forget whatever money it was, and it was done. And we're hammering down on places for fucking months and can't get even a reply.
Yeah.
And we can't even get anybody to say, like, fuck you, leave me alone.
I would follow up, though. I mean, if anybody listening to this, if you're trying to book shows, follow up, because a lot of times the emails fall on deaf ears. They don't see them.
Oh, but email is way better than, like, Messenger.
I use Messenger as the follow-up.
Yeah.
So I'll send an email, and then, like, a couple days will go by, and I'll shoot them a message on Facebook or Instagram and be like, hey, just letting you know, I sent you an email just in case it went to spam or blah, 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 blah. And they could pass that along to whoever's running the email account, or they could tell me they'd have a second opportunity to tell me to fuck off. It's whatever they want to do with it. The ball's in their court.
The best way that we've found so far is hooking up with other bands, like finding bands in the city that you want to go to. Just get on like one of the local music pages or something like on social media and start looking at the clubs and what bands are playing there, and then hit them up and to be like, hey man, we're coming through town. Could you guys, hook something up with us?
And most time bands are happy to do it.
They're cool.
I know
They'll
every
talk to
time
you.
we've had, like when we had Muddy Creek here and took them to Golden Fox, we were more than happy to host and be like, hey, come on into town. We'll get you treated right, or at least not beat up and robbed.
I saw a post on one of the local music things the other day. It's like in Omaha or something, and this guy was like he's like, man, I got this band and I'm putting my music out there, and I want to, he's trying to get a hold of like people booking clubs, and I actually sent him a private message, and I was like, dude, find bands where you want to go and hook up with them. Because people were really roasting this guy. Like, he put his music on the post.
Dude, that's cold-blooded shit.
Yeah, and dude, it is like, dude, the people on those forums, they're like little, like, you know how bad little kids are, like,
they're troll dens, dude.
They're fucking meanest people in the world, and they're worse than that. Like, they will just say the nastiest shit to these people who are really just trying to.
And he's just putting his heart and his art and his heart out there. Like, it's like, this is me, guys. Can you help me out? And they're like, look at this
you
dumbass.
Fucking suck, dumbass. Yeah. And so, anyway, I sent him a private message, and I was like, dude, man, fuck, get off of that. Like, go.
I would rather get what we got, which I tried doing, like, the Facebook groups and, like, hey, can I interest anybody in a show? If I can put the show together, blah, blah, blah. And they just didn't reply at all.
That's the worst.
No, I would rather that than, like, here's our song. And then they're like, your song sucks. Stay home. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I'll take the silence, dude.
Well,
because then I can at least play it off in my head like they're just busy. They didn't see it. It's fine.
I wouldn't put my music on one of those things anyway, because people just love to hate anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter how good it is.
It's all views, baby. Ain't that right, YouTube?
Somebody's got to have something to say about it.
But no, I think, honestly, I think this idea of the podcast is a good idea because it takes forever to get together and write songs and stuff like that, but you have to have stuff out. So it's a struggle to stay relevant. No matter how good you are or how much is going on or what you're doing, you still just have to keep pushing. So I think this is just another plate that we can kind of keep spinning and keep eyeballs on the page.
It's fun to do anyway.
Generate some interest in songs. We've got more songs coming out. The album's coming out soon. So we did all the touring stuff. And then, Melody was kind of stretched out because you had Christmas and you had New Year's and a snowstorm and all that stuff. So it was nice to come off the road, have a couple weeks to chill, celebrate baby Jesus, get a new Gnip Gnop for a Christmas present, and then go back out and play a show again. I thought I would be a little more rusty than I was.
You just came off of a multi-state tour.
Yeah, but we didn't practice or anything.
It doesn't matter. You're playing
weeks.
Every single night on the road. Like, it's just like, it's like you're practicing every day. You know?
Yeah, true.
So, like,
we were very definitely honed in at the Melody Inn.
Yeah, I think we will be for a while right now.
The other bands were great. I heard a couple songs from After Midnight, but me and Chris had a long drive, so we just took off immediately. Yeah. And we both had to be at work early the next morning.
We stuck around because Brandon needed to buy a guitar.
Oh, yeah. It's still in my truck.
His new guitar.
Yeah, it's still out there. It's not like the cold's going to do anything bad to it. It's the worst piece of shit guitar this guy brought in. And,
I told you, I said, I was surprised he didn't carry it in by the strings.
You know, he was trying to sell it to Chris, and Chris got all sentimental.
He was trying to give it to Chris.
Oh, and Chris, yeah. And Chris was like, hey, man, I think this guitar really ought to stay with you if it was your friends and blah, blah, blah. And he was going on, Chris being philosophical, Chris. And then I was like, I'll take it. Because I'm thinking, this dude has no idea what this guitar is. He doesn't play. He said he didn't play. Yeah. So I'm like, his buddy died. So this guitar is in his apartment, and it could have been a Martin D45. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who knows what this thing was?
There was a good chance it wasn't.
Very good chance. I knew that. But I'm just like, I don't even know if Martin D45 is a thing. I think it is. But, an expensive guitar.
Yeah.
And I was really joking when I said it because Chris was trying to be all nice, and I was like, I'll take it. And then he's like, I'll go get it. I was like, okay. And so then he came back, and it's the worst piece of trash. But now I told him that I would take it. Now he's wanting to sell it to me.
And that, as soon as he was leaving, he said, I'm going to go get it. And if you want to give me a donation. And I was like, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
There's the rub.
Yeah. Well, I ended up buying it. I did. I think I gave him $26 or something.
And a beer.
And I bought him a beer.
And a beer.
Yeah. He wanted, I forget,
draft.
he wanted $100 for reverse. He was giving it away.
Yeah.
And then he was like $100. I was like, dude, what are you talking about?
Hey,
and then
inflation is real.
Actually, Hugh took a video of me talking to this guy out back in the beer garden, and I was showing him every single thing that was wrong with it. I was pointing it all out to him. He's like, man, come on. I was like, dude, I'm not giving you $100. I told you 30, and now I don't even want to give you 30 for it. So
you landed. You were like 25, and he was like
the whole
26.
The whole time
like,
Brandon's talking to him, Brandon's like, look, the bridge is fucked up. This whole thing, it's a V shape, and he's just like, all right, give me 40. And he's just like, no, I don't. I told you 30, and I don't even want it. He's like, all right, 35. Give me 35. And he just keeps saying it. Doesn't matter what Brandon's saying. Brandon's like, look at this thing has a fucking hole in it. And he's like, all right, 30. All right, you got me. And he's like, I didn't got you.
Yeah, you got me. You got me.
You clearly got me. You are getting me right now.
Yeah, and I knew that, but I felt like I should give him something. So we played with Jeannie Jackson Mangano is her name.
Okay.
And she is the drummer for what was the first band that played? What were they called?
Jeannie and the Defenders of Funk.
Jeannie and the Defenders of Funk, and then she also played drums for the last band, After Midnight. She was their drummer too. She also said that she's the drummer for Joel Gragg. So we were talking about maybe coming back and doing a show with Joel Gragg with her playing drums.
There you go.
Yeah.
That would be dope. Joel's awesome too. Mm-hmm. When we start booking this New Orleans run to and from, like Tennessee and Kentucky or somewhere, or Alabama, you said, what are you planning on doing differently this time around when it comes to how you're booking this stuff?
Well, number one, the last tour that we did, we had an anchor show already set up in Saratoga Springs. That came by way of our record label, and so we were able to book around that. We don't have that this time, so my first thing is find the anchor show ourselves. And I think anybody booking a small tour, that's what you need to do. You need to find an anchor show and book around that. So like if a small tour for us would be like a week or 10 days, something like that, but you're playing every night. So the first thing is find your anchor show where you can make the most money, because you need money on the road to pay for everything.
It's good to have a halfway point where you're getting a little paid.
So we might find like a Saturday for your Friday or Saturday for your anchor show.
Yeah. Find
somewhere where you can make the most money, and then book maybe Tuesday up to that Saturday, and then on the way back you're going to play till Wednesday.
Looking for that show first, is it just the money motivation, or is
it's not? But
you're kind of putting yourself under the gun.
But you have the most opportunity to make money on a Friday or Saturday.
True.
And so that's you have to think about that. Like, for instance, if say we're looking at anchor shows in New Orleans, and we've got one that's at a really popular club that we know people pay attention to, but it's for $100. But then down the road, where we have an opportunity to go somewhere that's smaller and they're paying $700, I'm probably going there.
Yeah.
To pay for the
for sure.
To pay for the run,
and gas and all that stuff.
You know what I mean? And then so we take the smaller club for the $700, but we're going to be in New Orleans, so we still go to that big club and we talk to the we network down there. We'll go talk to the manager or whatever, and just talk to him and see if we can maybe rustle something up for next time. But your anchor show definitely has to have the most possibility for money. And then
I felt like it also it put us under the gun. I mean, we got started late booking that, but it was like, Saratoga's coming up. We have to get these other shows
and
booked.
We did it, man. We only had one cancellation on that, and that was out of our control. We had a show booked.
It's also nice that whenever you have a show, once you get your first show, that you can reference when you're talking to other venues, and just being like, well, we're in Cleveland on Monday, so if we can do Erie on Sunday, that would be fantastic, man. That's not a long drive between the two of them.
It absolutely helps, because it looks like, and you are, but it looks like you're doing something.
Yeah, it's
to say we're coming in from Indianapolis, proof. We're going to Columbus, we're going to Buffalo, whatever. Yeah. You tell somebody that, like, we're coming in from this, and then the next day we're going to a different state because we're on the move.
Yeah.
It helps, for sure.
Creates that kind of sense of something special. I got to get them while they're here.
And sometimes, you have to think about that in your own brain, too, because, like, we're sitting here saying it looks like we're doing something, but you are. You know what I mean? You really are.
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard to think about it that way, but like,
I think all musicians kind of battle with imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, to
That's
where
a good
you're
way
like,
to put it.
am I really doing? Even when you're doing what is legitimately cool, big shit,
it's hard to believe it.
It's still hard to be like, am I just blowing smoke up my own ass?
I know, but you're not, man.
Real?
Like, dude, like,
you know,
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I look back at the last all of December, like all the pictures, like say in my social media or whatever that I took or that I'm tagged in or whatever through the entire month, and it's just like different states all over the place, different sites, different like record labels, like Niagara Falls, like we're looking
Hall
at Canada,
Fame,
like
looking at Canada,
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like all this cool shit we did and cool places we went over the month of December, and I'm like looking at that going, did I really do that? Is that real?
Yeah.
You know, you're right. It's like an imposter syndrome thing. It's weird, but like it's hard to believe in it for some reason.
Well, I mean, obviously you don't want to just believe in yourself so much that you come off as like egotistical.
Well, that's really what it is.
You stay kind of humble about it.
No, that's really what it is I think that's what stops you from
the humility.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to sound like, you know, like you're being egotistical, like you said.
Right.
You don't want to sound like that, and so like your brain won't process it all.
Well, and the thing is, like, you don't want to talk about all the labor pains. You just want to show people the baby. So you don't want to be like, how was tour? You'd be like, oh man, booking the thing was a pain in the ass.
It's horrible.
And everything is bad. And poor me. You know, you just want to say, yeah, it was great. And we were really fortunate to be able to go do it. And we're going to do more. And we learned a lot.
My favorite part of being on the road is all the little things in between. You know, the experiences of it. Not necessarily. I mean, I love playing music, but I can do that anywhere.
New York rest areas.
Yeah. Like that's a whole story. Like you could talk for 2 hours about rest areas in New York, in the state of New York,
versus our busted ass.
And what's crazy is like, dude, like
broke vending machines
in New York.
Is that guy dead?
If you go off of an interstate ramp in New York, you're not going to find any gas stations, which is crazy to think that. But you won't find them because
every 20 miles.
Yeah, the rest areas, which are they called, Apple Green or something like that. It's like privatized, but like those rest areas have Starbucks. They'll have like Popeyes or 4 or 5 different
Burger
restaurants.
King.
Any type
a whole convenience store.
A whole convenience store. Anything you want to buy. A lot of them have gas stations attached to them, and they're right on the interstate.
Looks like an airport lobby.
It's exactly. It looks just like an airport.
Massage chairs.
And they're everywhere. Yeah, massage chairs. They're just everywhere. Every 15, 20 miles. And here we are talking. Look, we're doing it. Talking for 2 hours about New York rest stops.
Rest stops. When Illinois is
the worst.
Like I said, an empty pop machine, a broken vending machine,
barricade in front of the bathroom. Like, sorry, out of order.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a whole different world. The rest stops are not the same at all. Those are the things that I love about traveling. Tour.
Yeah.
Is just seeing all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Or just the like, I know we talked about tater tot casserole, but like people like that, you know.
Yeah, different culture. Like people in Ohio do not use the right lane of the road. They just drive in the left lane of the road the whole way. I didn't know that.
Where did we have where did I get that Philly cheesesteak? Remember you were dying, Hugh. You remember you were mad at everybody because you wanted to eat in.
That was Buffalo.
Was that Buffalo?
That was the Nietzsche's we went to.
Because me and Keenan got tie.
Hoagie. Yeah, it was a hoagie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sandwich was amazing. And we asked them, and this is another thing when we go on the road. You talk to the local people. We're asking the bartender, like,
where do you go?
Where do you go to eat? He's like, 4 doors down, there's this place, Hoagie Stop. You got to go there.
Yep.
So we walked straight down there. It was so great.
That's what we did last time we were in New Orleans in 2018. And we went in some place, and they were either not open or getting ready to close early. Something. They weren't taking any more people. But we asked the hostess lady, we were like, where do you?
Yes.
Like, you go to Parkway, get the shrimp po' boy. It's amazing. Get this on it, blah, blah, blah. And we did. And we went we were down there for 5 days. I think we went to Parkway 3 times.
Yeah.
Twice for lunch, once the first time for dinner.
Last time I was down there, I stayed right downtown, and everybody said go to Mother's. And that was like a place that opened up, I think, during World War II or right before. That's where all the soldiers went, and it got famous that way. And they have like super famous po' boys and all that shit too. Yeah, I ate there probably 5 times over a weekend.
And you want to get out and be a tourist and try different stuff, but I'm just the type. I find one thing at a restaurant I like, and I'm like, I just want this. All you sell here, is chicken fried steak. Get this menu out of my face. So I guess that wraps up what we're doing for now.
I feel like that was kind of loose and not really like. We didn't really have any type of focus, but bye.
We're just getting our sea legs.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, while we're figuring this out, like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz.
Smash that
and yo, guys, smash that like button.
Don't do that.
And,
I mean, do it, but don't. And I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm not gonna act like that, but please like, subscribe, all that shit.
Yeah.
And see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That whole thing's about to fucking come hit you.
All right, give it to me.
Look at this. Look, it's low and it's high, and that's why this thing's about to pop off.
All right, give it to me.
I told you.
Give me 35.
I told you $30, and now I don't think I want it for 30.
Give me 35.
It's about to fall apart. Here, you can have it back.
All right, give me 30.
I don't want it.
Give me 30.
I'm telling you. This thing is about. Dude, look at this bridge. Look at that. See how it's angled? That motherfuckers, look, it's pulling the whole body up.
All right, give me 30.
Pulling the whole
You
body.
talk me down. You got me. You got me. You got me.
I didn't got you.